Good morning and welcome back to the Crypto Power Hour, the #1 crypto show on Rumble. Of course, powered by our friends over at Solum Global with the Crypto Bros, George Ballantyne and myself, Lance Miliaccio. It's your ultimate deep dive into everything crypto, blockchain, and decentralized finance. And we don't care whether you're a seasoned investor or a newbie just stepping into the world of digital assets for the very first time. We're going to bring you expert insights, top interviews, exciting new projects, breaking news, and game-changing innovations shaping the future of digital finance. Because, of course, on this show, in crypto, we trust. George B., my brother from another mother. 7 a.m. Friday morning. It's rise and grind, rise and shine. What's up, bro?
I don't know. I need my rest. Trying to beat this cold. I got to jump a flight tomorrow morning early. And I don't like flying like this. So.
Yeah. Well, you know, I don't blame you. I hate flying. You got to take sinus medicine so you don't have that compression. That does suck. I'm sorry that you got plans this weekend and you're going to have this nasty cold hanging over you. That's always lousy.
Yep.
But listen now, if you guys, of course, you know this show Wednesday.
I should be in bed resting, and you should be doing a show alone. But we all know how that goes, Lance.
Yeah, it's
Make
tough.
the sad
It's tough
face.
with the production. Well, it's tough. But it is tough because you have the server, everything's there with you. We do need to figure out a solution for that because I wish I could have done it without you today, just to help you out. Because you covered for me when I was sick, which was great. It's a hard deal. We'll have to work on that. Maybe that's something we can look at in the future. But of course, listen, here's what it's all about. That you're here because you want to learn about crypto. It's the #1 crypto show on Rumble. You can find us on Rumble, YouTube, and Locals. So make sure you hit that follow button. And you can take the live link during the show and share it on your own social media. You can take the short form, long form content after the show, share it far and wide. If you really want to grow your own social media, use our backs to do it on. Of course, you got this show Wednesdays and Fridays at 7 a.m. And then, of course, you've got our regular show, 11 a.m. Monday through Friday, Eastern Standard. We need the follows. We're on every major podcast platform, so always trying to grow those. So whatever help you can give us in growing by hitting the follow button on Spotify and iHeart and Amazon, you name it, we're there. And of course, don't forget, you can find us over on YouTube, both shows. So find these shows, go hit the follow button. We're trying to grow both those channels. We had gotten suspended, so we had to start from scratch again. We had a pretty big account here on the Big Mig Show, about 30,000. We're having to start from scratch. They let us reopen, but they wouldn't give us back our original account, which really sucked, of course. And that's it. So that's what's going on. If you'd like to sponsor the show, we love our sponsors. We love crypto, but we also love gold and silver. It's the Prepper Bar. Yep, the 62.2 gram Prepper Bar. Perforated, as you can see when I tilt the bar. Your choice of 3 separate denominations. You just break off a small piece to make a payment. It's a great solution besides having 1 ounce in gold or silver tokens. What are you going to do? Carry around a pair of tin snips? Like they used to do in Rome when they'd cut off the edges of the coins. Listen, this much easier. Just snap it off, of course. Doesn't matter whether it's asset protection from inflation, diversification, economic turmoil, or in the case of the Prepper Bar, it's extremely unique utility for barter and trade. Makes a perfect gift for everybody. There isn't anybody that doesn't like gold and silver at these prices. It's really an heirloom gift. You give it to your nephew or your grandkids or your children, and they'll hold on to it for life, most likely. They might have to sell it at some point. At these prices, you couldn't blame them. Of course, a lot of people acquired gold and silver when it was very cheap. So head over to thebigmigbar.com. That's right, thebigmigbar.com. We've got 2 promo codes. Big Mig Silver, that'll get you 10% off on the silver, and Big Mig Gold, that'll get you 5% off on the gold at thebigmigbar.com. You can use the QR code, take a snapshot. Don't go there now. Wait till after the show. Go pick up a few. It'll give you peace of mind just to have some of these around, just to keep one in your wallet or keep a couple hidden in the gun drawer, the safe drawer. Thebigmigbar.com.
Break me off
you.
a piece of that Prepper.
No, I hit the wrong one by mistake. So
I know. I'm just saying thank you to the crowd for clapping for me. It's okay. It can happen. Sometimes you queue up the wrong thing, but I'm gonna roll with it, George. I'm a professional. I'll roll with it. All right, listen, this is a special report. George and I felt it was necessary. It's a little bit kind of a mixed report. It's not our normal crypto fare, but this is information about Iran's IRGC and the USA crypto cat and mouse game. It's an intelligence report. We're calling it Operation Pull the Plug. And I really want the details of this to get out. So do us a favor, make sure you share this video, share it with everybody in the Trump administration. Let them know that this is right over the target. We did a lot of deep dive, got a lot of stuff from online, Al Jazeera, you name it. We dug, we found it. We put this together. Hopefully you guys appreciate it. But listen, Bitcoin mining, yeah, it's a crypto cash machine for the IRGC in Iran right now. You've heard about the oil. You've heard about Carg Island from George and I. But listen, they're sucking power from the grid. They dodge sanctions. They're funding terror with this Bitcoin mining. And this is why the U.S., in my opinion, must strike these facilities now to share the regime's war machine. The great part of this is about you're going to get a lot of information about Bitcoin mining. And, we're going to cut through blockchain noise, and we're going to expose the real power plays, of course, always shaking the global financial system. And we're going to deep dive into this high stakes crypto cat and mouse that's going on. Maybe a lot of you don't know about it, but it is going on. And of course, look, right before even the attack by Israel and Iran, people were worried about it. So individuals, there's a gentleman that his name was Feroz. He was a crypto user in Tehran, just a citizen, and he decided to act. He was feeling that the war was going to break out soon. He trusted his instincts. He moved all his crypto savings out of Nobatex, which, if you don't know Nobatex, you might not. Iran's largest digital asset platform, of course, and the central hub of the sanctions hit country's crypto ecosystem. So he moved all his crypto to his personal digital wallet in preparation. But I don't think he was the only one that did it. I mean, he was thinking, he made a move. It's what you should do. But you have to look at Iran's crypto ecosystem. People are valuing it. They're valuing the Bitcoin mining and the operation and the backbone at almost $8 billion. And it's growing faster than it ever has since 2024. Chainalysis did a report on it, and they are just blowing up. They say that they were really mining somewhere between 3 and 5% of the Bitcoin being mined. That's a big number, 3 to 5%. So it's not just the Iranian citizens, that turned crypto into, in a bid to offset rampant inflation and, of course, a weakened currency. The IRGC, of course, accounted for about 50% of on-chain activity in the fourth quarter of 24, which is just a fraction of the true total. This was in 26. 25 and then right into 26. So listen, much harder to trace. They're bouncing wallets. They're moving around. There are a lot of discussions online that I discovered where they said they really haven't located all the Bitcoin they moved out of the country. Now, of course, a lot of it was sold. Some of it was transferred into bullion. But when you're in a situation like Iran, what do you use it for? Well, it's a way to sell oil, buy weapons, fund terror. Buy commodities, buy needed, fuel for your missiles. And it's a way to get around sanctions and pay for imports that there's sanctions on going into that country. So this isn't some kind of an underground hobby. What I've discovered is an industrial scale Bitcoin mining operation on a national power grid. Now their power grid, as everybody knows, is already on life support. It's not very good. And they don't care if hospitals suffer, if orphanages suffer, if medical centers suffer. They will just shut their power off when they need it. Now, the U.S., they're playing catch up. I don't think they're really on top of this as much as they should be. We have seen some seizures, and we'll talk about that later in the show, but they froze. They're saying 500 million. Some people are saying 344 million in IRGC linked wallets just this week. I don't know how many are other targeted, but a lot of it's been moved around multiple times, which makes it difficult to track. And there are some platforms, as you guys know, we've talked about them on the show, that their whole effort is to launder crypto. And they work for the people that are criminals, the people that scam, citizens, regular people. It's a multi-$100 billion global problem. You've got a full-time operation, pig butchering, you name it. That first image is interesting because this is the Iran power grid. And this is all the 230 and 400 kilovolt lines that you would need to mine Bitcoin from. So I thought that was interesting, and I wanted to show about the hotspots around Tehran, Qom corridor, Kerman, Isfahan, and other mining clusters. But of course, listen, their grid already loses about 13% in transmission. crypto draws 2,000 milliwatts.
Lance, let me stop you there real quick.
Yeah.
I'm surprised because Iran, you're in the desert, a lot of sun. Why aren't they using solar?
It's a very good point. And I have an opinion on that. I thought the same thing. You want my opinion?
I don't know if I really do, but okay.
All right. My opinion is they don't give a shit if the people suffer. You know they're doing it. I mean, they're worsening blackouts for civilians. They don't care. The IRGC ops get dedicated feeds for power. You know, I mean, look, you're talking about a seriously important, capital infusion for Iran, right? We know that the U.S. government has sanctioned lots of stuff with them. This is a workaround. And the reason they're not investing in solar, because they could steal power from the citizens, right? Because it's really the people's power, which they don't give a shit about. Or they could invest, and by doing that, they can invest in more Bitcoin miners. They just keep stacking miners. And we've got photos of some of the facilities. I mean, this is no joke. This is a serious, serious operation. I mean, when you start thinking about 3 to 5% of the supply. So, George, my opinion is they would rather buy more miners because they don't give a shit if the people suffer. They're not going to invest their money in solar. That's my own opinion.
I mean, they have the money to buy as many miners as they want if they really wanted to.
But I think they're just figuring, well, shit, if we've got money to buy solar, let's just buy some more miners. I think that's the thought process. You're right. I mean, they're mining Bitcoin at under 1,400. It's like 1,300 and change a Bitcoin. So you think about that.
Yeah, but why is that? Why is that though?
Because they're stealing the power.
There
basically.
you go. Okay.
Yeah. Now, these Bitcoiners selling, they've sold some.
I mean, are they stealing the power? Isn't it their power?
Well, it is arguably, but what happens when you black out to all the civilians and they don't have power for their families? They don't have powers for hospitals. They don't have powers for orphanages. They don't have powers.
I wonder if one of their own family members was in the hospital. Would they do that? Black out the hospital because they want more Bitcoin?
I don't know. I guess it depends on who's really the control. In this case, I think it's the Iran Revolutionary Guard. And you start looking at these numbers, Bitcoin selling for 60 to 100,000 on the open market.
Right now, the Iranian Guard are trying to figure out how to smuggle some money out for themselves somewhere and put it in other bank accounts or something.
I mean, let's be honest. If you were one of the guys working in this Bitcoin mining operation, wouldn't you possibly dedicate some of those miners for yourself personally? I think it would be hard for them to track. I mean, they have hundreds and hundreds of miners. We're going to show the photos. How do you know if all of them are on the network and they're all going to the wallets that they're designated to? Mm-hmm. A programmer could easily spoof wallets.
They can do.
There's a lot of things that happen.
They need to probably.
What we're talking about, George, is a 50x return on energy alone.
They need
50x.
to. Some of these guards, probably higher up ones, need to figure out how to hide money away from the U.S. government and everybody else. So what are they gonna do? They can open up some crypto wallets and start sending Bitcoin that way. That's probably their safest bet.
If I was running this Bitcoin mining operation for Iran and I was thinking ahead, thinking that it was a good chance the U.S. was going to crush the government, I might take my chances. I might go ahead and make sure some of that mining Bitcoin kind of just went in, whoop, and just disappeared. Because right now, look, they sold just recently they mined Bitcoin straight to the central bank is what they usually do. Stockpiled over 500 million in USDT stable coins. A lot of that got transferred out, and the scale's staggering. I mean, they're saying, and the range that I could find for Iran was between 2 and 8% of the global Bitcoin hash rate. Now they've got listen to this number, George, 700 plus thousand mining rigs that draw 2,000 megawatts of electricity, which is enough to power a mid-sized city from what I figured out. It's basically the output. Listen to this. The amount of power they're using for their mining is equal to 2 to 3 nuclear reactors. So mining one single Bitcoin consumes over 300 megawatts. So the daily electricity needs of 35,000 Iranian households, basically. So the word is that crypto mining is being blamed for somewhere between 15 and 20% of the country's chronic power shortages. So they always cause rolling blackouts in Tehran and beyond. Of course, the IRGC, they've got total impunity and immunity. And they've got dedicated power lines and power plants. So you're talking about dominance in crypto flows. And of course, the Guard affiliated entities, you got religious foundations. They control 50 to 70% of Iran's mining capacity. roughly 100 plus thousand out of the 180,000 of the 700,000 active devices. They've used legislation to build private power plants and dedicated electricity lines. So they just, if they want to do it, they just say, oh yeah, we're going to take some more money out of the budget. Now they've got, Chainalysis is showing the IRGC linked wallets. Listen to this number. Received over $3 billion in 2025 alone. $3 billion.
A lot of money.
Yeah. So maybe let's talk about this. We've got a bunch of prime mining locations. You've got Rafsanjan in the Kerman province. There's a major cluster in Tehran Com corridor of about 1,100 active crypto nodes. And those are all tied to the government and the IRGC institutions. And there are just so many. So they're using, listen to this, they're using secret underground farms and abandoned factories, mosques, office buildings, storage facilities, military bases, and the list goes on. They are being very crafty. So that the Tavernier grid loses 13%.
This picture is like in a factory right here.
Yeah. So you saw that they've got industrial scale IRGC mining rigs. There's rows. They got tons of ASIC miners, the best ones you can buy, which, of course, are not cheap to run. Everybody here that mines knows that. They've got thousands, like I said, just 700,000 plus rigs, commercial grade. They got technicians in every facility, and they are, some of them have been seized. Like this was an underground seized farm. If you see that one photo, typical setup that they've used in like independent factories and warehouses. That was Media 6. 7 is, now listen to this. You see what that is, George? 7 is farms concealed in
stadium tunnels.
Stadium tunnels.
Pretty wild.
It is wild. I mean, look at how many miners are in that setup. So they basically are taking over their sports stadiums, the tunnels.
I wonder how they're keeping those miners cool, because it's in the tunnel, but it's still,
if you look there, there's some large scale water cooled fans. I looked at those up close, and then I asked AI to analyze them. And I guess those are kind of like swamp cooler style a little bit, but not really. I don't
know, man. Still, because it's still.
No, I agree.
It's not inside like where it's controlled.
No doubt. I'm sure they've got a lot of failures, but it doesn't matter. They've got so damn many of them. I mean, and such a low number. 1,320 per Bitcoin is what people have analyzed.
Somebody's gonna invent a cheaper way to harness so it doesn't use so much electricity. There's got to be another way.
And the outflows are massive. During the June 2025 strikes, there was 700% outflows from Novitex. And then 150% surge happened to pre-Israel's 12-day war. So they've been playing this game of cat and mouse for a while, so they've gotten really good at it. And on June 18th, 90 million in crypto assets were stolen from Novitex. And I guess this was an Israeli-linked cyber attack. And they actually destroyed and stole. I don't think they destroyed them. I think they stole them. They say they destroyed a lot of them. I don't believe it. I don't believe Israel just said, oh, yeah, we'll just destroy those. I think they stole them. Not that I blame them. Now, the central bank has already bought that 500 million. And I also put this chart up. This is kind of some of the largest transfers in the last 60 days in March. In April, they transferred 344 million. That was the USDT frozen funds. April 18th, 87 million. And that was some oil sales and stuff that they funded. Again, I'm not sure how that all worked. April 5th, 62 million. March 28th, 45 million. March 15th, 31 million. March 2nd, 10.3. I mean, and the list just goes on and on. And I don't know if they're transferring these to the Russians, the Chinese. Are they buying weapons? I would bet that a lot of this went towards weapon. But the regime profits are unbelievable. And the cost of the civilians, George, it just doesn't stop. Let's talk about what I think should happen. So I took some information. I co-located it. I found a couple of named facilities, and I built a strike map. I built this because I hope that the administration maybe sees this, and I wanted I wanted everybody to see that this information is available. This is all open source. This isn't intelligence classified information. It's clear that it's pretty obvious where all the mining network is. Seems like these should be high priority strikes. Now, George, prior to the show, you and I had a brief conversation, and I want you to talk about that. I said, well, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me why, if I could find this information that easily, we know about the power grid locations. We know the IRGC has got these mining locations. I'm sure these aren't all of them because they've got a lot of hidden ones, but this would put a major dent. And you made a statement. I'm going to let you run with it. Why do you think the administration, with as easy as I could find this information, it only took me a couple hours. Why do you think they're not striking those locations?
The Bitcoin mining facilities?
Yeah.
Because the U.S. wants to confiscate all that Bitcoin.
Huh?
I mean, just think about it. You can confiscate it, put it into our treasury. I mean, although when you hear Besson talk, you always saying like any money, the stuff their oil or stuff seized is for the Iranian people. We'll see. I don't know about that.
Is there going
a few Bitcoin here,
a handling fee, a management fee,
a
maybe?
few Bitcoin here, a few Bitcoin there. Well, we should definitely get paid back for everything we've done, our military and everything.
Yeah.
At least cover our costs and fees.
But the Bitcoin miners don't. Again, seizing Bitcoin that's in wallets, it's already been mined. Don't you think functionally? And I'm going to say this to the audience. You guys are all crypto people that are watching the show, or people that are learning about crypto. Doesn't this seem suspicious as what? That here they know the locations, and you would think if you were going to do airstrikes, if they've got a bunch of Bitcoin miners in their sports stadiums, wouldn't you just pick a day that nobody's in the sports stadium, and wouldn't you hit those? I wonder if they also want to seize the Bitcoin miners.
See that, or they're trying to do as minimal damage for the Iranian people, because listen, all that's going to have to be rebuilt. Takes time and stuff. I mean, who knows?
But how dangerous is it to have something that can generate billions?
All I got to do really is just shut down their electrical grid.
Let me finish this thought.
But it's cheaper to shut down their electrical grid.
I don't disagree with you. But how dangerous is it to have a system that can generate billions in untraceable revenue with a country like Iran?
I mean, I don't think it really matters, because the country, Iran, does what Iran wants. It's their money. I mean, look how much they take in oil, like 500 million a day. Well, they're not doing it right now because of the oil embargo, but Yeah,
but don't you think that the dark pool of capital that comes from crypto, it's much easier to put that into nefarious operations like funding terrorism, because you can move it around much more easily within the banking system?
I mean, you could just take the money that you have in the banking system, buy crypto, and move it around. Think about it. What's really?
These are just general questions.
No, I know. No, I get. Yeah, I know. I'm just saying.
We're just kind of putting our heads together and talking to the audience, because I like to hear you guys, talk in the chat. Give us some comments down below. We'd love to have comments on the show. We know thousands of you are tuning in. Give us some comments if you love the show. What you like to see us do more of, and I don't mean in the chat only. I mean underneath the show itself. Let's get in those comments and go ahead and take the live link and share it. But here's my statement. The hard truth for Washington, D.C. Wallet sanctions are digital whack-a-mole. To truly shut off the IRGC's funding food chain, you're going to have to consider precise strikes on these high-value, low civilian impact targets. The IRGC-linked mining farms, dedicated power feeds, like George just said, and grid nodes. You're going to have to destroy the 2,000 milliwatts of crypto draw, in Rafsanjani, Kerman, and Tehran corridor. And you're going to have to crash the regime's ability to convert cheap power into hard currency. You can't allow them to continue with these 50x profits. You can't have them funding the axis of resistance. Power grid's already fragile. Targeted disruption is going to force the IRGC to choose between blacking out their bases or watching their crypto empire go dark. And I think that the Iranian civilians have already paying the price. America has the tools and the moral imperative to pull the plug. And I think Operation Pull the Plug is a mandatory operation. This crypto cat and mouse is going to have to end when the mouse has no more electricity. What do you guys think out in the Power Hour? Of course, the Crypto Power Hour crew. What do you think in the chat? George, what do you think? Do you think this is a necessary next step if we really want to bring Iran to their knees?
I mean, we're crippling their economy. I mean, so if you can cripple the economy and take away their funds or seize them, whatever, that's going to bring them to their knees. I mean, I don't know how much longer they're going to last. Their oil facilities are filling up. There's no more room. It's once it gets full, then they're going to be in real big trouble because they can't move it.
Yeah.
So,
I think it's necessary. I don't know why they haven't done it. George, you got a bunch of details on Operation Economic Fury.
but also the Ayatollah, the new one, he doesn't want to make a deal. He just said, I think yesterday, they don't want to get rid of their nukes and some of the things that the U.S. wants them to do. But all right, Scott. So along with blocking the Strait of Hormuz, any of Iranian ships, Besant's been doing stuff behind the scenes, and he did an interview, and he says they seized nearly 500 million in Iranian crypto, and they're calling it Operation Economic Fury. Not only that, but they froze a lot of bank accounts. Anything they're finding, they're freezing. And anybody doing business, if they find anybody doing business with them, they're sanctioning those people too. So, we know China's still doing business with them. But look, you cripple them on all fronts. If you could do this without any military, we'll see. But, Lance, it's up to the IRGC. They're the ones, I think, who call the shots.
The Khomeini leadership, and then, of course, the Basij militia. I still don't really know for sure who's pulling,
if the generals, who
do you have to make a deal with? That's the question.
Listen,
and I don't think they're going to make a deal.
I'm going to tell you, if the generals were smart, they would come together, get rid of the regime, look like heroes. And
I agree.
But I don't know. I got a clip here from Best in Talk. I got to play it though.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's rock.
You're actually, in some cases, seizing assets, are you not?
That's right, Larry. We were able to grab about 350 million crypto assets, and then on top of another 100 that we had recently gotten. So we're almost at $500 million there, and we are freezing bank accounts everywhere. More importantly, we are making people less willing to deal with the regime. And then, so it's the economic fury along with the blockade, because now the port at Kharg Island is at a virtual standstill in terms of loadings. We think that the Iranian storage will be full soon. They'll have to start capping in their wells, which will lead to permanent problems. And, again, the regime won't be able to pay their soldiers. And equally important, Larry, is they won't be able to fund their proxies, whether it's Hezbollah, Hamas, around the world. Because one of President Trump's goals in this was to stop Iran's ability to project terrorist power around the world. Iran was the largest sponsor of state terrorism around the world. They've been killing Americans for the past 47 years, and that's coming to a stop now.
The key thing what Besant said, I don't know if you guys caught this, but I'm going to say it. He goes, when freezing all their funds, they're not able to make money and they're, losing out. Once them soldiers stop getting paid, I think that's the breaking point. That's when the soldiers are like, wait a minute, we're not getting paid. I'm defending this regime for, and it'll be over. Because they're not going to stand for that. Because, listen, everybody's got families. I mean, Iranian people are going to be suffering too. But the sooner this gets done with and over with, they can send shipments of food, water, at least get them supplied up. But until then.
And they'll have the money to repair the power grid. What I think is also interesting is that they're grabbing luxury real estate. A lot of the money was used by Iranian leadership to buy themselves like villas in the south of France. And I guess Scott Besant is going after all that luxury real estate, which is great because they did it on the backs of the Iranian people, made them suffer while they're living the life of Riley. They've got their family members going to the best schools, living and buying, high-end goods, driving around in Ferraris and Bentleys and Rolls Royces. I think that all has to come to an end. It's terrible what they did to the people because they are suffering over there. I'm interested to see what happens here. Supposedly we're sprinting towards the finish line, but the only way we're going to sprint towards the finish line is to stop all their revenue. Look, there's massive inflation. Their currency is about 60 to 70% versus the U.S. dollar. So they're in the middle of a currency crisis too. Their currency is becoming less valuable. Hyperinflation might kick in at any time. And that's when you'll need a wheelbarrow of cash to buy a loaf of bread, which again is tough on the people. And they're going to, I guess the government's also going to the buyers of Iranian oil and told them, we're willing to do secondary sanctions on your industries, on your banks, on your crypto companies. They're going to do it all. So Kharg Island standstill, but I think this is all good. I like the tone of this. but it could impact the crypto market. Bitcoin could get an increase because, of course, if the mining operations are taken out, if they do strike those mining operations, the real end of the story here for you guys is Bitcoin could jump. If we hear there's strikes on the mining operations and the power grid, you could see an increase in Bitcoin because, of course, we're talking about a large amount of Bitcoin that's being mined that wouldn't be mined. That means the hash rate of other groups would go up and it would be more valuable. So see what happens. We'll keep an eye on more of this for you. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that report. And if you like the report, take that content, share it far and wide. George, you want to give a shout out?
Oh, I'm going to give a shout out. Do we want to give a shout out? Sure, we're going to give a shout out. BlockTrustIRA.com, because Lance and I, we got the perfect solution for the people that can't watch their crypto 24/7. I'm talking about BlockTrustIRA.com. They're bringing access to cryptocurrency wealth to everyday people. Their exclusive Animus AI trading platform works 24/7, analyzing market data and executing advanced crypto strategies that go far beyond buy and hold. This sophisticated technology, once reserved only for Wall Street insiders, but now it's available to you. And listen, this no surprise. This system was named #1 crypto technology platform by Bitcoin Magazine. And now this is out of more than 1,500 global competitors. Our clients are already seeing over 250% returns on their investments, all at military grade security and up to $200 million insurance. Your wealth is fully protected. So don't wait. Visit bigmidcrypto.com today. See how you can join this financial revolution that's finally giving everyday Americans access to the crypto opportunity of a lifetime. Once again, visit bigmidcrypto.com today and you can get up to $2,500 of free crypto. QR codes right here on the screen. Take a screenshot. Links in the chat and links under the more section of the video. All you got to do is click on it and go there. All right, Lance. What do we got?
Let's talk about the crypto market structure, Bill. Of course, looks like ethics disputes and Trump ties the cloud. It's a cloudy path forward. Momentum is building for a markup. A crypto industry source told The Block could happen as soon as mid-May. However, ethics has also come more into the picture as midterm elections inch closer. Democrats are likely to bring it up in their campaigns. They're whining like a bunch of schoolgirls, talking about that Trump's personal net worth has gone up billions because of his crypto involvement. But look, the guy's a smart business guy. He sees an opportunity. I think it's a benefit to everybody, including the American people. But the crypto market, structural legislation is gaining momentum. Lawmakers are eyeing, mid-May markups, even as key disputes remain unresolved. As George has said many times, the banking industry is pushing back. They don't want to see crypto staking rewards or high interest rewards. They don't want them to have any of that. But Trump's made it pretty clear. He told them, and I think, George, you covered it on the last show, back off the Clarity Act, back off being an obstruction. He said this to the banking system.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just blowing my nose, Lance. Just go.
Oh,
Sorry.
That's okay. Well, look, there's a guy, Senator Tom Tillis. He's a Republican, a key negotiator, and talks about the broad crypto bill. He told Fox that he had asked Senate Banking Committee Chairman Tim Scott to move forward with scheduling a hearing to amend and vote on the legislation. Tillis also said he hoped to have fresh legislation text a few days ahead of the markup. So, look, there's a markup coming. The hurdles, of course, are going to be the bill's been stuck over the past few months in the Senate Banking Committee. Clashes of how to treat stablecoin rewards because the banking system's in fear they're going to lose their stranglehold on us. And that's been the main blocker, alongside other ethics and DeFi concerns. Of course, quantum computing, that's one of the concerns that's kind of been brought up in Congress and worried about, is the encryption safe enough, or do we have a plan for encrypting these assets? Of course, this bill is going to broadly regulate the crypto industry. They're trying to designate regulatory jurisdictions between the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, which is known as the CFTC for you guys, and the Securities and Exchange Commission, which in the past has been kind of a pain in the ass, but they're not really the hurdle anymore. But they want to figure out who's in charge of what. They all don't want to give up their power grip. And the House passed a similar version. Of course, that was the Clarity Act last year. So look, I think they're focused on the substance. They're trying to make it happen. Could be a big deal. George, I guess they're entering a red zone on this.
It is. Listen, I talked about this the other day, Lance. Like, if they don't get this bill, the Clarity Act passed, they were talking about it's not gonna go anywhere until like 2030 or something, which is crazy.
Can you imagine that they move this damn slow? It's unbelievable.
It's
And what a
because
terrible thing for the American people.
This is the bankers doing it. They're holding it up. You know, the lawmakers they're trying to appease everybody, but this is crypto. It's nothing to do with banking. The banker, we keep saying this, the bankers want to do something, change their ways. And that's why Trump gave them that ultimatums, like, get out of it. I mean,
yeah, but the banking, they don't want to change their ways. They want you to pay 30+% on your credit cards, which I still don't understand how that isn't usury. And what happened to Donald Trump's promise of 10% credit card interest? And then you've got the ethics issues. They're claiming, of course, that Trump's raked in at least $1.4 billion from his crypto ventures, including DeFi and stablecoin projects, World Liberty Financial, and the True Social, and they've done a bunch of stuff over there. And of course, they have a 20% stake in the mining firm American Bitcoin. That's Eric Trump's operation. And of course, there was an event last week. Trump hosted a gala lunch at his Mar-a-Lago estate in Florida for holders of the Trump meme coin. Now, I'm not a big fan of all the named products of Donald Trump. I can say that up front. That meme coin hasn't done very well. Some people got lucky and cashed out right away. Other people got left holding the bag. The coin isn't very valuable at this point. It's gone way down. But, look, one crypto industry source that we spoke to estimated its chances of passage 15 to 25%. That's a shitty number. It just goes to show how much control the banking system has. Really not good. And of course, I don't know. Now they're saying having a sock puppet in charge of the Fed will also give the president access to the Fed's powerful authorities. They're talking about Warsh, I assume. Why do they think he's a sock puppet, George? He seems to be kind of a sharp guy.
They think that about any president who nominates a person for any position, because he's nominating them. If it was the other way around, they'd be saying probably the same thing. They're trying. Yeah. It's all smoke and mirrors and show for their constituents. God forbid. Yeah. But what's crazy is, and now I'm going beyond this. Is the next one we're talking about. Is this? Listen, this is how crazy it is. The Senate bans their members from prediction markets as insider trading scrutiny grows. What about banning them from stock market trading on the stock market? I mean, you're gonna do that? I mean, just crazy.
You know why I think they're bothered about this? I think the real reasoning behind it. I saw this and I thought, okay, prediction markets. We're talking about Poly Market and Kalshi. You guys know all about those. George and I are big followers of those. But look, this is something when it comes to using insider information in prediction markets, it's more available to the average person. Of course, this all got kind of triggered because of that one special forces guy that supposedly used inside Maduro raid information to make $400,000. It's an allegation right now. He actually entered a plea of not guilty that he didn't do it. The U.S. Senate unanimously passes this Thursday, barring senators and staff from trading on prediction markets. They say they're trying to limit conflicts of interest. George makes an incredibly valid point. How is this not the same thing when it comes to stocks? And I think it's because normally the stock decisions, when they're going to give a contract to Boeing or Deloitte Touche or some other major firm, it's only really known at the highest levels of congressional committees. You don't see most of the underlings don't really note it till it's way too late. So I think in this case, they're saying that they're banning, and it takes effect immediately, that senators and their underlings can't, trade on Kalshi or Poly Market because they don't want them wagering on political, geopolitical, sports, economic outcomes, maybe what Donald Trump is doing. But of course, the prediction markets are on fire. Kalshi was just valued at $22 billion in a recent funding round. Poly Market reported he's been in talks to raise $400 million at a valuation of $15 billion. These places are blowing up. The traffic is getting bigger and bigger. Reuters estimated Kalshi and Poly Market could handle $96 billion and $84 billion, prospectively, in 2026 trading volume. Shows how quickly that sector's grown. But it's interesting how quickly they target us. And I think it's all about that U.S. Army Special Forces soldier, that Master Sergeant Gannon Ken Van Dyke, because he was arrested on charges that he used classified information to profit on Poly Market. What are your thoughts, George?
I just had myself muted, sorry. look, it's never a good look when somebody's doing insider trading or betting. It taints the process for anybody. So I mean, if you have that, how do you know what is actually real, what's fixed? You know, the trust. You know, it's all built on trust, but it diminishes the trust. So, look, they shouldn't be. All these Quality Market and Kalshi and any others. They shouldn't be allowed to put anything where it pertains to any kind of government strikes, anything government in that sense. This way it'll stop that. Why not?
Yeah, but does it really stop it? Because don't we have the same problem if they just continue to insider trade on the stock market?
Well, the stock market is a totally different thing. They shouldn't be allowed to do
but
anything
if
on the
you
stock
know,
market.
as
Look at
an
Nancy
example-
Pelosi.
Well, and think about it. If you know we're going to invade Cuba and you know that we're short on short range missiles or we're short on man pads or some kind of a specific item, and you know that contract is specific to, say, United Defense or Halliburton or one of the big ones, isn't that just the same exact thing? Because now that Senate goes in, they go, yeah, we're going to strike Cuba tomorrow. They know that they're getting ready to place an order.
Well, that's why I mean they shouldn't be allowed to do anything, bets on any kind of government stuff like that.
No, but that wasn't, I didn't say Polymarket and Kalshi. I'm talking about the stock market now. I'm talking about a company that supplies weapons to the U.S. government. Now, I think if they're going to do that, then they need to, all stock trading needs to stop too for congressional members. If they want that job, take away that one way they are making hundreds of millions of dollars. I don't think they should be allowed to participate. If they want to take the job, take the job.
What's to stop them from telling it to one of their friends, and their friends are holding their little portfolio for them or something?
You know, it probably doesn't, but at least you could make it more difficult where they have to jump through more hoops. It's a tough thing, man. I don't like any of it. I think it's unfair, and to my opinion, it's insider trading. And I don't know that punishing Polymarket and Kalshi, if Kalshi wants to say we're going to invade somewhere and they're just speculating, speculation's been in every sports wager and every government, you know, I know we're gambling on war and military and elections and economies and Federal Reserve, but to me, I just don't like insider trading unless they're going to let all of us do it. So for you guys, that's my own opinion. All right, listen.
If they let all of us do it, then trading would be worth nothing.
Yeah, maybe. All right. Well, here's what it is. At the end of the day, if you love the show, thumbs up, comment, share, and subscribe. If you'd like to sponsor the show, hit us up over at info@thebigmig.com. We're always looking for like-minded sponsors. We'd love to grow the show further because it seems to be wildly popular on Rumble. So don't forget, follow us here on Rumble. Follow us on Locals. Follow us over on YouTube. And we're also on every major podcast platform. So don't go short. Look at every major podcast platform and do what you can. We appreciate and love you guys. Thanks for tuning in today. And don't forget to join us at 11 a.m. Mike Schwartzeroni going to be joining us. Dr. Mike Schwartz. We try to change his name. He is Italian, but we keep trying to change his name to a fully.
I might be suspect, bro. I'm calling suspect on that.
Are you saying? Do we need an investigation? Do we need a deep dive?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe he's like.
How do you be Italian and end up with a name like that, though?
I don't know. It happens, I guess. I don't know.
We'll see you at 11 later.
Are you ready to stand up for your community and support your local sheriff? Join the Constitutional Sheriffs and Peace Officers Association and become a vital member of the Sheriff's Citizens Posse. At CSPOA.org, we empower citizens like you through weekly webinars, arming you with the knowledge to back your constitutional county sheriff. Together, we can uphold our Constitution and ensure liberty and justice for all. Your community needs you now more than ever. Visit CSPOA.org and join the Sheriff's Citizens Posse today. Make a difference. Stand for freedom. That's CSPOA.org. Your country, your fight, your future.
What if you could predict your financial future? And what if you could trade on it? Introducing Block Trust IRA, the future in your hands. An astonishing 88,000 millionaires were created last year from the Bitcoin boom, and you could be next. Block Trust IRA is the only crypto management firm powered by AI-driven strategies ranked #1 in the world by Bitcoin Magazine. The Block Trust IRA platform is built for everyone, from first-time buyers to seasoned investors. Predictive AI technology that was once only reserved for insiders and elites is now available to you. It's time to leave the old buy and hold strategies behind. Your assets are protected with military-grade security, offline cold storage, and $200 million in insurance. Visit BlockTrustIRA.com to book your free consultation and ask how to claim up to $2,500 in deposit bonuses today. Bitcoin changed the game. AI changes the strategy.
Hi folks, I'm here today to introduce you to the Prepper Bar from PrepperBar.com, the most unique precious metals product we have seen in a long time. These 62-gram bars are perforated and easily broken down into your choice of 3 different sizes to fit a multitude of needs. Whether it be from asset protection from inflation, economic turmoil, or its unique utility for barter and trade, the Prepper Bar makes a perfect gift for all the precious metal lovers out there. Exclusively made here in the USA and selling out fast. Available in both gold and silver, these slim Prepper Bars fit neatly in your wallet, and their utility enables use in any situation.
Forged through rigorous training and honed by the finest instructors on Earth, these K9 units serve beside our nation's warriors as they fight to preserve what we cherish. When these warriors complete their duty, the Warrior Dog Foundation provides them with a home deserving of the service they've given us all. At our state-of-the-art kennels, they receive rehabilitation and care suitable for heroes, because that's what they are. Be a part of giving them a future today. Visit WarriorDogFoundation.org.